Yeah, so obviously we've got our audio there now. We're going to just mess about with it and see if we can get anything interesting going. Because at the moment it's a bit static. So what we quite like to do when we've got something at this stage is just start cutting bits around and reversing it, I guess, just to see what we can come up with. It's more fun than messing around with MIDI. So
yeah, essentially resampling yourself, basically.
Yeah.
So you just created your own sample and now you're going to resample it. So there's a big gap between the first and second chord, and obviously we could, I think at some point we'll add some kind of like response to that call,
Yeah.
but we can still do some stuff here. So maybe like if we just reverse the first chord or something.
yeah, just duck that out. So yeah, obviously with Ableton you can just duplicate tracks and then cut extra bits out. So we'll just cut out this first chord and then we'll move
So
it.
to cut as well as a shortcut, which is Command E. So if you click in an audio file anywhere you like and then press Command E, it will create a slice at that point, which is a really useful shortcut.
So once we've got the reverse bit there, obviously we don't want it to clash with this chord here, so we'll just nudge it back a bar. And in Ableton, obviously you can use the curves. That sounds alright, to be fair. Maybe we'll give it a slightly different filter setting.
Maybe reduce the resonance a little bit on that as well.
Yeah, there's quite a big gap obviously with that first chord still, but we can add extra interest in there as we progress. Yeah, I think that last chord sounds a bit whack. Maybe we can chuck in again a reverse element for maybe this section here. We'll just, oh crap, maybe we just take the last chord, give it a reverse. This might sound rubbish, but let's find out.
I think that was probably sound okay if you filter it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good time to automate it.
Yeah. So what we're doing there is just taking the filter cut off and automating it in Ableton, really. Obviously we're in Ableton, but in the automation lane. And with automation, you just get a lot more interest with the sound, and you can change things as the track progresses. So yeah, that sounds all right. Maybe we'll just take that as a starting point and process this sound a bit further to get a bit more out of it, because it is quite static at the moment. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think group the two sounds together. Maybe we can, almost like bust them. Yeah. So probably a good point to talk about that as well. Maybe just pause.
There you go.
So what Tom did there was just create a group. So groups are essentially like how buses act in other DAWs. Really useful for multiple reasons. So I guess firstly, it means you can process like sounds together. So yeah, really useful for drums and stuff. But any like sounds you can group and process together. And then secondly, organizationally, it just makes things way neater and way more easy to navigate your projects as you kind of build up channels. You know, like we can end up with 80, 100 channels sometimes in projects, and if it's all kind of sporadic and random, it's quite hard to kind of find the thing you're looking for.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah, just from an organizational standpoint, it's really useful to use groups.
Yeah, definitely. So I think what we'll first of all do is just get an EQ on there, and we use obviously FabFilter's Pro Q. We're still on Pro Q 2 for some reason. We haven't got 3 yet, but you know, sounds pretty good anyway.
They actually sent it to us, and then we just haven't bought the third one. Yeah, that's the reason.
That's it. We're lazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick a low cut on there, maybe just ducking off at 100 hertz, just so we don't get any clashy problems down the line.
Maybe you can cut a bit more if you know.
Yeah. See if we can find anything interesting in there. I mean, as a starting point, that's fine. We can get stuck in with mixed stuff later on. Then maybe we'll go straight in with this plugin here, which we use quite a lot, called Super VHS. John, do you want to give this one a little rundown?
Yeah, I guess it emulates like a VHS player essentially. So, you know, you can add kind of pitch drift and static and kind of all those nasty sounds you traditionally wouldn't want, but you know, lo-fi is super in at the moment.
Yeah.
And it has this magic button. So yeah, that was obviously the static slider.
Yeah, it sounds a bit crazy.
Which gets a bit crazy. But yeah, we tend to use this mainly for the magic button, to be honest.
Are you ready, everyone?
It is magic.
Just like a lot of width, a lot of character there to the sound.
A little bit of drift as well, it adds in. It just does a lot of things in one button, and it literally does, yeah, it literally is magic. So yeah, shout out Baby Audio for that one, because it's great.
Yeah, so that just gives a nice tone to the sound. It takes it out of that digital realm once again. Nice bit of character with the tape emulation. I think next maybe we'll add some reverb on there. So at the moment it's sounding a little bit dry and it tails off quite quickly. So we'll load up Valhalla Vintage reverb there. There you go. So that's obviously 100% wet, which we don't want. But yeah, again, this is our go-to reverb plugin. Valhalla do great plugins.
Super cheap as well.
Yeah, we do a lot of different reverbs. And to be honest, we only use this one and then their free ones, which is the Space Modulator and Supermassive.
Yeah.
Well, they've got different. Yeah, I think they've got. Is it a plate one and a
got
shimmer
shimmer,
reverb?
room, plate. Yeah, they've got loads, and I think they've got a delay plugin now as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all like really reasonably priced as well. So if you're looking for a really good reverb for not that much money, then definitely go for Valhalla.
Yeah. So I mean, this is how it loads as default. Sorry, they've got a nice few presets.
So I think
in there.
I think traditionally it's used as a bus as a send. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is why it's defaults to 100%. And you'll find with a lot of reverbs that actually default to 100% because they traditionally use reverbs on a send channel rather than on an actual audio channel.
Yeah. So we'll have a go at just making our own reverb here instead of using the preset. Straight away, we'll just duck some of the low end out. Obviously, sometimes you do want your reverb to hit the low end, but it can create a lot of kind of muddy sounds, which can interfere at the end.
Probably you can go in higher. Like I normally cut like 500 or something.
There you go.
Depends. Like Tom said, it depends how much of that sort of mid and low mid you want to preserve.
Yeah. I had a bit of pre-delay. I'll take the mix down a bit. Decay 3.8. That's probably okay. Let's go. Should we go 1980s? Why not?
Yeah. So they've got these different algorithms for vintage verb, like based around different eras, I guess, of what was popular in that era for reverbs, and you can get some interesting stuff if you cycle between them.
Yeah. So we'll just play this and see what it sounds like, and then we can tweak away.
Probably turn the decay down a little bit. Yeah.
So I'm sounding alright at the moment. As a starting point, I think that's okay. Maybe before the delay, start that again. Maybe before the reverb, we can add in a bit of delay, just to reduce the tail on that sound slightly, or make that tail more interesting. Sorry. And there's lots of great delays within Ableton. Let's have a look. Let's just load in an echo preset. Let's go for one of these, see what it sounds like. So maybe that's a bit too fast for this sound. We'll slow it down a touch. And we've taken the dry wet right down as well.
Maybe decrease the feedback a little bit.
So that sounds quite nice as a starting point with this sound, do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe as we get into the track, we'd probably automate that dry wet to come right down.
Yeah.
But maybe as an intro sound, it can be a bit more dramatic.
Yeah, for sure. So perhaps now we've got that main chord progression down, we can build in some more pads. So yeah, let's cover that next.